Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Monatui, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays. I guess I owe a bit of an explanation as to why there hasn't been any videos in about a month, including the PPL videos that we have to upload by Monday on their respective weeks. So first of all, big apology to you guys. I've been slacking a little bit. There are reasons, and I'll get into them a little bit, but I haven't been uploading, and that's not fair to you guys because you guys deserve content from me, even if it's the really garbagey, sloppy content that I produce with like 3 editing errors per video, and I'll accidentally leave the song in too long, so it's an hour-long video for 15 minutes of footage. But regardless, you guys seem to enjoy that anyway, so I will do my best to bring you guys that as well as some good content as well. Also, I have to apologize to pretty much everybody involved in the PPL. Like, we have rules and guidelines, and I just have not been following them. Like, we need to play our battles on time. I have played most of my battles on time, except for this match versus Jack, just because it was difficult with my work schedule and his being Australian and school schedule. So it was kind of difficult for us to play, but we ended up playing a day late. We got it done. His game was uploaded somewhat after the date, and then this one is uploaded like 3 weeks late. So that's cool. But regardless, like, the PPL has rules and guidelines, and I just have not been uploading on time, and that's just not fair to them, because they all have to upload on time. I'm one of the people who help run the PPL, and if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, it's really not fair to them. It's not fair to everybody else, because if I don't do it, then they gotta be like, well, why do I have to do it? And there's validity to that, because I haven't been uploading on time. And again, it's just not fair. So regardless, let's just get into this game real quick, and then I'll talk about my life and why I haven't been uploading a little bit. On our team, we have a sub 3 attack Victini with Z Brick Break for the Heatran, as well as hitting the Lantern pretty hard. We have Scarf Hydreigon, we have Choice Banded Hawlucha, which is really fun, High Jump Kick, I believe Aerial Ace, U-Turn, and Flying Press, which is really cool. Flying Press, which is a good neutral move for his team. We also have Specially Defensive Gliscor, which is nice. We have just bulky Venusaur, Mega Venusaur that is, and then we have a Specially Defensive Klefki with Play Rough, Hidden Power Ground, Thunder Wave, and Spikes. And then, as you can see, Jack decided to bring his Scizor, his Ninetales, his Heatran, his Lantern, his Latios, and his Silvally. I'm not sure what that Silvally is going to be. Probably something to take on my Hawlucha, because it doesn't seem like he has very good switch-ins to it. Like, yeah, obviously he has the Latios, but that doesn't want to switch in on Banded High Jump Kick, or, like, it obviously doesn't want to take on Sky Attacks. He does Scizor to revenge kill me afterwards, but he needs some chip damage in order to do that. Like, I outspeed and knock out the Ninetales, I hurt the Heatran quite a bit, and even the High Jump Kick to Scizor is going to do quite a bit of damage unless he's fully physically defensive. So it's probably some sort of Silvally to deal with Hawlucha. Maybe Ghost, I was thinking. Ghost would also be very good in order to deal with the Mega Venusaur. Could be something to deal with the Victini, like it could be Silvally Rock or something along those lines in order to Pursuit Trap the Victini, which would have been cool. But regardless, I'm not 100% sure what it is, so we are just going to start this battle. I'm going to lead with my Victini, as he is going to lead with his Scizor, so obviously, very good lead for me. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. There's the animation. Forgot how slowly this went, but as you can see here, he is going to go out into his Scizor. This is going to be a pretty long game, by the way, so feel free to, sit back, get a snack, get some water, go walk your dog, do whatever. This is going to be from his perspective, because I'm a piece of shit and forgot to save the battle replay, because I did this battle, and then I immediately had to leave, and then I guess I was in a rush and forgot to do it. Regardless, I'm going to set up a sub as he goes out into his Lantern, and I can just hit this thing with a V-Create. It's the hardest thing I can, it's the hardest move I can go for to hit this thing, other than Z Brick Break, but I don't want to use my Z move quite yet. I want to save that for the Heatran for a little bit later on. So we're just going to go for the V-Create, as he is going to go for a Scald in order to break my sub, and that's okay, because I did get some chip damage off onto this Lantern. It doesn't have any recovery outside of possible leftovers, so that's going to be really nice for me, and that V-Create does do quite a decent bit of damage, though it's looking to be somewhat of a more physically defensive Lantern. As you can see here, he does end up having the leftovers, so he will be getting a little bit of recovery. However, because I know that he's pretty much all bulky and probably doesn't have any speed investment, I still will be able to outspeed him, and I will be able to go for the U-turn, get some more chip damage off onto him, despite the fact that I'm at -1 speed, and I will be able to go right out into my Hydreigon, just because it's a good offensive check to this thing. And I am running Earth Power on this Hydreigon, so I will be able to hit this Lantern, as well as a possible Heatran switch-in if he wants to go into that, expecting a Draco Meteor. And I'll be able to hit pretty much anything on his team with an Earth Power there. I believe he does not have a Flying type on his team. Even though I just went over his team, I completely forgot what it was. But I'm just going to click Earth Power here because it's a very spammable move versus his team. And as you're going to see here, he is going to send out his Silvally, and I checked out what type this was, and considering the fact that he hard switched it into a Hydreigon, I figured, and I was correct, that this is a Silvally Fairy. So, it's going to be able to switch into my Hawlucha, it'll be able to switch into Draco Meteors for my Hydreigon, it'll be able to switch into Dark Pulses, so very good prep on his part. As you're going to see here, he's going to go for a Parting Shot, expecting me to want to switch out, as I do switch out into my Klefki, as an attempt to try and get up some spikes. But, because of the fact that he went for Parting Shot, he now has a free switch out into his Ninetales, and this is a very big threat to my team. Like, I do not have very good switch-ins to this thing, and it's going to be kind of difficult for me to deal with. So what I'm actually going to do is going to go for Thunder Wave here, just to slow this thing down so that my Gliscor can outspeed and knock it out, as well as my Venusaur, because I am running Earthquake on my Venusaur. So we are going to go for the T-Wave there, and he's actually going to get full parried. Very, very nice for me, because I would have just sacked off my Klefki here, and Klefki is very important for his team. So I get very lucky there, and I'm now going to switch out into my special defensive Gliscor, because I will be able to take on whatever he wants to do. As you're going to see here, he is going to go for the Flamethrower, and this damage 100% reveals that he has Specs. That does way too much damage. I'm fully special defensive Gliscor. That is a Ninetales, which is relatively weak. Obviously, it's a stab Flamethrower in the sun, but Ninetales does not have great special attack. That's going to do a ton of damage to me, so I'm going to be forced to Roost on this turn in order to get myself healthy, although I actually go for Stealth Rock, because I realize that Stealth Rock are very important. So my bad. I did want to go for Roost in order to get myself healthy, but I still can Roost up on a couple members of his team. I'm not knocked out by Scizor at this range, and I can Roost up versus that, which is going to be very nice. So what I'm going to do here is just switch out, and I'm going to go out into my Klefki. Also, with the Sun up, I can actually Roost up versus the Lantern, because Ice Beam will be a neutral hit, because I'll be going for Roost. Or it'll be a two times super effective hit, and Lantern's relatively weak, and I'll be able to take it well, and Scald obviously is weakened by the Sun. I'm going to go into Klefki here. It's a relatively safe switch into the Latios, as he is going to end up going for the Defog. Kind of annoying for me, because I did want to get some damage off onto that, but regardless, it's not the biggest deal in the world. I'm actually going to go for Hidden Power Ground here, expecting him to want to go out into his Heatran, as he actually hard switches out into his Lantern, which I'm very okay with, because I was able to get a little bit of chip damage off onto this Lantern, and I can Spike Stack versus this Pokemon, and as you're going to see here, I am going to go for one layer of Spikes, and as you're going to see here, he is just going to fire back with a Heal Bell, getting rid of the paralysis on my on his Lantern, so that Ninetales is once again a very, very big threat to my team. And had he not gotten full parried and hit my Klefki with a Flamethrower, I basically would have just gone for Thunder Wave for absolutely no reason, because I would have gotten no benefit from it, but thankfully I did get the 25% chance to full parry going for me. Here I'm going to Hidden Power Ground this Lantern, as he is going to go for the Scald. Not going to be able to do a lot of damage to me. He, however, is going to get the burn, which is entirely fair. Not too bad for me, because I have all special attacks. Well, no, I believe I had Play Rough on this set. I may have had Dazzling Gleam, I may have had Flash Cannon, but I think I had Play Rough. But it's not too big of a deal, because I'm not going to be clicking Play Rough all that often. I will, however, be able to, you know, he's going to negate my leftovers, but being burned is not the biggest deal in the world, because I still can do what I have to do. I'm going to get up a second layer of Spikes here, which is very nice. Going to be able to get more chip damage on that Silvally coming in, and if he does want to defog, he's going to have to do it with his Latios, which I do have some responses to, especially like every time he goes Latios, I can go right back out into Klefki in order to start clicking more Spikes. He is actually going to hard switch into this Latios, however, at this point, which makes sense. Because I am burnt, Play Rough is not going to be able to do enough to him, and he can kind of just roost off the damage. Also, because he has leftovers, he's going to be getting some passive recovery with his Latios. So what I'm just going to do here is I'm going to switch out. I'm going to make a pretty aggressive switch, and I'm going to go right out into my Hawlucha. There's no way he's going to Psyshock or Draco a Klefki. He's more than likely just going to defog, and what this will allow me to do is go right for a Banded U-turn and get a ton of damage off onto his Latios. And as you're going to see here, he's going to get rid of the Spikes, but now I can gain myself some initiative as well as some good damage with this Choice Banded U-turn, which is still not going to do enough to knock him out, but it is going to do a very big chunk to this Latios, and now I will be able to go right back out into my Victini, which may have been a bit of a mistake, because Victini is still very valuable, but I didn't want to go Klefki because that gave him a free Roost, and I didn't have great switch-ins to this, and I didn't think he would go for a Draco here, expecting my Klefki to want to come out, But he is going to go right for that Draco Meteor. Again, this is just a little bit of an over-aggressive play on my part because Victini was still very useful, and I'm just going to end up sacking it off to the Draco Meteor. I figured he might want to like roost on that turn, try and get himself a little bit healthy, because, you know, if I'm sub, I probably don't have a way to hit this unless I'm running Dazzling Gleam, but I was running U-turn with sub as well. And again, that was just an over-aggressive play on my part. And here he's going to send out, or I'm going to send out my Hawlucha. And at this point, I'm just going to go right for that Banded High Jump Kick. It looks like it can probably 2-KO anything on his team. However, without the rocks, I'm definitely not going to be able to 2-KO the Still Valley. Even with the rocks, it wouldn't have been a 2-KO. However, I am chipping away at the Still Valley very nicely, and he is no longer a switch into my Banded Hawlucha. So Banded Hawlucha, big threat to his team at this point because it's able to 2-KO everything on it, except for the fact that he has Rest on his Still Valley. Which means that this thing is going to get back to full health, and my Hawlucha is basically... my Hawlucha is going to continue to be walled by this thing, and I can click U-turn on it and gain initiative versus it, but right now my team is just a little bit too passive for his team. So as you're going to see here, he's actually going to go out into his Lantern as I click the Earthquake. I wasn't sure if he wanted to go out in a Heatran. Regardless, Earthquake was a pretty good neutral play, just because there's no way he was staying in with his Still Valley, and if he did go out in Heatran, I would have been able to 2-KO that thing with Earthquake, and he wouldn't have been able to do too much damage to me. Regardless, he's actually going to send in his Lantern, which I will be able to 2-KO. He actually lives on 1%, which is kind of funny, and then he's going to go down to the next Earthquake. I'm going to go for Earthquake just because, again, it hits everything, and I don't think he's going to switch out. I'm hoping by revealing Earthquake, it's going to reveal that I don't have Hidden Power Fire, because I actually do have Hidden Power Fire. I had Sludge Bomb, Hidden Power Fire, and Earthquake. So there was, I didn't have Giga Drain, which he didn't know about, which is hopefully going to lead him into thinking I have Dual Stab, Earthquake Synthesis, and not Hidden Power Fire, but that's not going to be the case. So here he's going to go into his Latios, and I'm going to switch right out into my Klefki. Again, if I had my Victini alive, that would have been really cool, but I wouldn't switch it into Latios this time, because I did the last time, and we see how well that worked. Regardless, he's going to be able to go for the Roost here, because I'm a Mega Venusaur and I can't really touch him, and he does threaten me out. So I'm just going to go right back out into my Klefki. With his Lantern gone, he has no more Heal Bell support, and his Electric type is gone, and he does not have a Ground type on his team, so I will be able to go for the Thunder Wave very freely, be able to go for that attack, and paralyze this Latios, which is going to be very good for me, because now he's going to be slowed down, my Venusaur is going to outspeed it, my Gliscor is going to outspeed it, I obviously have the chance to get full Paras, which he did right there. And then what I can do is just start setting up spikes onto this thing, force him to defog so that I can get a free switch out into one of my offensive Pokemon. Because I hard switched into Hawlucha on this thing earlier, I think he may at some point go for a Psyshock, so I have to be very careful of that. But as you're going to see here, I am going to hard switch out, and I'm going to go right out into my Gliscor. If he went for a Psyshock, I could live it. I didn't think he'd Draco Meteor a Klefki. As you're going to see here, he does end up going for that Psyshock, and because he has leftovers and not a boosting item, we are going to be able to live just barely, and we will be able to outspeed this thing and go for a Roost. And if he goes for a Draco Meteor, that could be a bit of an issue, but he does have that chance to miss. He has that chance to get full parried. I am specially defensive, so I have a chance to live. There's a couple things that could go on here, and as you're going to see here, I'm actually just going to go for my rocks because they are very, very important versus this team, and I did expect him to want to switch out. As you're going to see here, I am going to get some Poison Heal back, which is very nice. I forget if I go for Roost on this turn. I don't remember if I do. Yes, I am going to go for Roost. Unfortunately, this is the 1 week I'm not bringing Taunt Gliscor, because otherwise I would have been able to shut down the Still Valley really, really easily, but, you know, it is what it is. I believe I had Toxic on this thing, or I might have had U-turn or something along those lines, but I didn't have Taunt on this set. I was Stealth Rock, Roost, Earthquake, and then some other move. So no Taunt, unfortunately. But what I can do here is just go for an Earthquake. I'll do a little bit of damage to this Still Valley, and I beat him 1v1 unless he has Ice Beam, which I don't think he's going to have, because he should have Multi-Attack, Rest, Sleep, Talk, and then Parting Shot, which is a move he has already revealed. So as you're going to see here, he's going to go for that Multi-Attack, so we know this thing's whole set. He's going to go for it. It's not going to do a lot of damage to me because I am still a Gliscor, and what I will be able to do is just spam Earthquake versus this thing until it basically, either it goes down or I pull an offensive switch, and as you can see here, I am going to pull that switch out into my Mega Venusaur because Still Valley cannot touch my Venusaur whatsoever. He, however, is also going to pull a switch, and he's actually going to go right out into his Latios, which is unfortunate for me because that would have been really nice to have Gliscor in versus the Latios. But as you're going to see here, what I'm actually going to do is spam Sludge Bomb, because on any turn that he gets full parried at this point, I'm going to be able to knock him out. Like, he's going to go for Psyshock here, right? He's not going to go for Roost, which means that, also, I don't know why I said he was leftovers when he's not. He's going to go for Psyshock. He's going to do a little bit more than 50%. The odds of him getting full parried are better than not. So I want to end up at a decent amount of HP so that I can take on the rest of his team as well as knock this thing out. So I'm going to go for Synthesis here. He always has that chance to get full parried, and I'm kind of playing off that at this point. But as you can see here, he's going to crit me with a Psyshock, and he's easily going to be not able to knock me out. Once again, like, even though it was more in my favor to get a full para than it was for him to crit me, I was just sorry about that. Another thing that demotivates me to record games is when my disk space runs out constantly and I can't get rid of any of the storage on my laptop. I'll figure out I'll figure out a fix for that. For some reason, my videos end up being like multiple gigs large, and I have to find some sort of fix for that. Regardless, anyway, it was stupid of me to just stay in with my Venusaur continuously. I still have my Klefki alive at this point. I could have switched it out whenever I wanted to, and I just didn't for some reason. I was like, there's no way he doesn't get full parried, and then he ended up critting me, and again, like, even though it was kind of in my favor, I was playing a very dangerous game there, and I ended up losing it, and that's just entirely my own fault. Like, I had no reason to be that aggressive with it. I could have just gone out into anything else. I could have gone back out on my Gliscor if I wanted to, because it was paralyzed. He was going for Psyshock. I could have taken it, I could have roosted up, I could have been out of range of Draco Meteor, things like that. But instead I decided to play a little bit stupid. He's going to go out into his Ninetales here. I do not outspeed this thing because he healed Bell the para off of this earlier. So I'm going to have to, I will be able to knock him out, but I'll have to take an attack first. I am specially defensive, so I will be able to take it. As you're going to see here, he's going to go right for that Specs Fire Blast, and it's going to do so much damage to my Gliscor. Like, this is just a very threatening Pokemon versus Steam. Offensive fire types are very good. And I don't have Swampert this week. It wouldn't have helped too much just because I didn't expect Specs, and obviously Ninetales gives access to Solar Beam, and that would have been a big problem. Regardless, we are at least able to get rid of the Ninetales, but at this point I'm looking very, very weak to his Sizzler. And that is exactly what he is going to send out. He's going to go right into that Sizzler. And I believe at this point he can pretty much just spam Bullet Punch. As you can see here, I'm going to go right out into my Klefki just to sack it off. I may be able to live one Bullet Punch depending on his item. However, as you're going to see here, I do actually live, because even though he's banded, Klefki is relatively bulky, which is nice. And what I can do here is once again kind of just click Thunder Wave, just because it hits something on his team. Although I forget if I go for Thunder Wave or Spikes on this turn, we're going to find out. Just kidding, it doesn't matter, because he's going to have speed and go for a Bullet Punch once again. So whatever I click there, it didn't matter. And he is going to be able to knock out my Klefki. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right out into my Hydreigon, and here it's kind of a 50-50 on what I can do. I can obviously go for Fire Blast, or I can go for Earth Power trying to hit the Heatran. I already revealed Earth Power, so I don't think he's going to go out into the Heatran. However, he is going to go right out into that Heatran. I went for Fire Blast over Earth Power just because if he did send in the Silvally, which is what I was expecting, Fire Blast in the Sun would have done a lot to that thing, and then I could have switched out onto it, or I possibly could have 2-KO'd it. And at this point, I don't have a good play. I can't switch anything into Flash Cannon. I basically have to let this thing die, hope that his Heatran's not Scarfed, go out into my Hawlucha, spam High Jump Kick to win because I'll be out of range of Bullet Punch from Sizzler. It's not a good chance for me because there's a very good chance the way he's preserved Heatran up until this point, it's going to be a Choice Scarf Heatran. But as you're going to see here, he's just going to go for another Flash Cannon. He's going to be able to knock me out, and then I have to go out into my Hawlucha, click High Jump Kick. Again, just hope that he is not Scarfed for whatever reason. I can knock this thing out, and then I can possibly knock out the Sizzler, as well as beat the Silvally 1v1 with my whatever else I have left, which I forget. But he is going to be Choice Scarfed. I'm going to have to click High Jump Kick versus this thing. I will be able to knock it out, which is great. Okay, well that was the 4th time this video that I've ran out of disk space, so I just uninstalled Rainbow Six Siege. That's like 40 gigs off of my computer. Yeah, there we go, 7 seconds, cool. Gonna hit play, cool, for the last time, awesome, great. Heatran's gonna die, Sizzler's gonna come out, gonna click Bullet Punch 2 times, and then this game is gonna end, and Jack is gonna win 2-0, because, unfortunately, like, if my Gliscor had a little bit more health, would have been able to take on the Sizzler, as well as probably been able to take on the Silvally, or maybe would have been able to take on the Silvally, I'm not exactly sure. Would have been a long game. I probably would have been able to do it just because with a crit I would have been able to 3-KO him before he woke up from his rests. But as you can see here, we're at a very little amount of HP because I let this thing take too much damage, and then it's just going to go down to the Bullet Punch, and then we are going to lose this game 2-0 to Jack, aka Electrostorm 252. And I guess I will start talking about the thing that I wanted to talk about earlier but never got to. Let's play again, hit pause, cool. basically, I've been working a lot, like, pretty much every day, 8 to 10 hours a day. I worked, like, 55 hours last week, and then when I get home from work, it's, like, 6 or 7 at night, and I really don't feel motivated to record Pokemon. I kind of just want to chill out and, like, go to sleep or play games or do whatever else that I do. So I haven't had a lot of time to do this, and then the time that I've had to do this, I've been tired and kind of unmotivated. That's not fair to you guys. That's also not fair to the PPL that has rules on when you can upload, as well as playing games on time, and I have not been following them, and it's just not fair to them. It's not fair to you guys watching, and it's not fair to me because I really do enjoy recording, even though my motivation for Pokemon recently was kind of low, but it's been picking up pretty steadily now, and I'm very much looking forward to playing as well as recording them once again. And again, I'm going to do my absolute best to get the rest of the games that I'm missing up on time. Not on time because it's already too late, but I'm going to be doing my best to get them up as soon as physically possible. I have a day off today, so I'm going to spend pretty much the whole day recording and getting that done. Regardless, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. Next week, or pretty soon, we're going to have the game me versus Don Fanatic, except it was Mr. Murkrow who played and filled in for Mr. Don Fanatic. So, once again, thank you guys very much for watching. I apologize that this video had like 4 to 5 jump cuts. Gonna try and stop that from now on because I have space on my computer now, and I will see you next time.